You wake up. You check the markets. Your heart accelerates before your mind has caught up. This is the first mistake. The difference between the millionaire trader and the one who bleeds his account dry is not intelligence. It is not access to better information. It is not even talent. It is something quieter, something most never see because they are too busy chasing what they think success looks like. It is discipline, but not the discipline you imagine. Not the kind that sounds good in motivational videos or looks impressive on a vision board. Real discipline in trading is the willingness to do nothing when your emotions scream at you to act. It is the capacity to walk away from money on the table because your rules say no. It is the psychology of the long term practiced daily. In moments no one will ever witness or applaud. The amateur sees one trade. The professional sees 10,000 trades. The amateur feels fear when a position moves against him. The professional feels nothing because he planned for this exact scenario before he risked a single dollar. The amateur believes confidence comes from winning. The professional knows confidence comes from having a system he trusts more than his emotions. Every morning before the charts open, before greed whispers and fear tightens its grip, there is a decision. Not about what to trade, not about how much money you will make, but about who you will be when the market tests you. Because it will test you. It will offer you everything you want at the exact moment your rules tell you to wait. It will threaten you with loss at the precise instant you should be adding to your position. And in that moment, the only thing that will save you is the checklist you built when you were calm, the mindset you practiced when nothing was at stake, the consistency you chose when no one was watching. This is not about one trade. This is about the compounding growth of discipline itself. There is a kind of trader who studies charts for hours, who learns every indicator, every pattern, every signal the market can produce. He knows the mathematics, he understands probability, he can explain risk to reward ratios with precision. And yet when the moment comes, when real money is on the line, he freezes, or worse, he acts on impulse. He abandons everything he knows because his psychology was never trained the way his analytical mind was. You cannot separate the strategy from the person executing it. A perfect system in the hands of someone ruled by emotion becomes a losing system. A mediocre strategy followed with patience and consistency will compound into results that look like genius to the outside world. But it is not genius. It is the daily practice of controlling what you can control. Your emotions, your reactions, your adherence to the rules you set when you were thinking clearly. Most traders lose not because they lack knowledge, but because they lack the mindset to apply that knowledge when fear arrives. Fear does not announce itself with logic. It does not wait for you to be ready. It comes in the form of a red candle that should not concern you but somehow does. It comes when you see others making money on a trade you passed on because it did not fit your criteria. It comes when you have 3 losses in a row, and suddenly your entire system feels like a mistake. This is where the professional and the amateur diverge completely. The amateur reacts. The professional refers to his checklist. He does not trust his feelings in that moment because he knows feelings are designed to protect him from immediate danger, not to make him wealthy over time. The market is not a predator. It is a probability game that rewards those who can endure discomfort without changing their behavior. Greed operates the same way. It tells you to risk more because you are on a winning streak. It tells you to stay in a trade longer because the profit could be bigger. It tells you that this time is different, that you have figured something out, that the rules can bend just this once. And the amateur listens. He believes his confidence in that moment is a sign of skill. He does not realize that confidence without discipline is just emotion wearing a disguise. The professional knows this. He has felt it too. The difference is not that he does not feel greed or fear. The difference is that he has a system that overrides them. Before he enters a trade, he writes down his exit. He defines his loss. He commits to the position size that keeps him in the game regardless of the outcome. This is not caution. This is respect for the long term. This is the recognition that one trade means nothing, but 1,000 trades following the same principles means everything. Money is not made in the trade. Money is made in the preparation, in the hours spent building a checklist that will think for you when you cannot think clearly, in the repetition of a routine that feels boring until the day it saves your account, in the willingness to miss opportunities that do not meet your criteria, even when others are profiting from them. You are not trying to be right. You are trying to be consistent. You are not trying to win every trade. You are trying to still be here in 5 years, with capital, with clarity, with a system that has been refined by patience rather than destroyed by impulsiveness. This is the psychology the market rewards. Not confidence, not intelligence, not aggression, but the kind of self-trust that comes from knowing you will follow your rules, even when every part of you wants to break them. Let me tell you what happens when you do not have a checklist, when you do not have rules that override your nervous system, when you trade from emotion instead of from process. You win, and it feels like validation, like proof that you understand the market, like evidence that you have finally cracked the code. Your confidence surges, you feel powerful, you feel like the money is yours to command, and in that moment, you make the first mistake that will eventually cost you everything. You believe the win was because of you, not because of probability playing out over time. So you trade again, bigger this time. Why not? You were right before. You will be right again. This is how greed whispers, not with obvious recklessness, but with the illusion of earned confidence. The market gives you exactly what you wanted, and suddenly you forget that the market does not care about you. It does not reward you for being smart. It simply moves according to forces you cannot control, and occasionally those forces align with your position. The professional understands this. The amateur thinks he created the alignment. Then you lose, and the loss feels personal, like betrayal, like the market took something from you that was yours. You stare at the red number and feel anger, frustration, the urge to get it back immediately. This is fear masquerading as determination. This is your psychology trying to soothe itself with action when what you actually need is stillness. The professional sees a loss and checks his journal. He asks whether he followed his rules. If he did, the loss is just data. It is noise. It is the cost of doing business in a probability game. If he did not follow his rules, the loss is a lesson, and the lesson is not about the market. It is about his discipline. But the amateur does not have a journal. He does not have rules he trusts. So the loss becomes a story about how he should have exited sooner, a story about how the market is rigged, a story about how he needs a better strategy. And the real problem, the only problem that actually matters, goes unexamined. He does not have a mindset built for the long term. He is trading with hope and fear. He is letting his emotions write checks his strategy cannot cash. This is where the millionaire is built or destroyed. Not in the trade, in the psychology that governs the trade, in the hours before the market opens when you review your checklist, in the discipline to walk away when your criteria are not met, in the patience to wait for the setup you have tested and trusted over time, in the humility to accept that you will be wrong often, and that being wrong is not failure as long as you controlled your risk. The checklist is not complicated. That is the part that frustrates people. They want complexity because complexity feels like mastery, but mastery in trading is the opposite. It is simplicity executed with relentless consistency. It is the same 5 questions asked before every trade, the same position sizing calculated the same way every time, the same risk parameters that never change based on how you feel or what you think the market is about to do. Before you enter a trade, you ask yourself, does this setup meet my criteria? Have I defined my exact exit before I risk a single dollar? Is my position size aligned with my risk management rules? Can I afford to be wrong on this trade and still be in the game tomorrow? Am I trading my system or am I trading my emotions? If the answer to any of those questions makes you hesitate, you do not. This is not caution. This is not fear. This is respect for the process that will keep you solvent long enough to benefit from compounding growth. Because that is what separates the millionaire from the broken account. Not one brilliant trade, but the compounding effect of doing the right thing over and over and over until the results become inevitable. Compounding works both ways. Your discipline compounds into results. Your emotions compound into disaster. Every time you break your rules, you are not just losing money. You are reinforcing a pattern of behavior that will destroy you. Every time you follow your rules, even when it feels wrong, even when you miss an opportunity, even when the trade loses, you are building the psychology that will eventually make you wealthy. Not because you are smarter, not because you found a secret, but because you trained yourself to endure discomfort without changing your behavior. The market will give you 1,000 reasons to abandon your system. It will show you traders making money on strategies you do not use. It will punish you for being right too early. It will reward you for being wrong just long enough to make you believe luck is skill. And in every one of those moments, the only thing standing between you and ruin is the checklist you built when you were calm, the rules you committed to when nothing was at stake. This is not philosophical. This is practical. The professional trader does not wake up motivated. He wakes up committed. He does not rely on feeling confident. He relies on having a process that functions regardless of how he feels. He does not chase the market. He waits for the market to come to him. And when it does, he does not ask himself whether he believes in the trade. He asks himself whether the trade meets his criteria. If it does, he takes it. If it does not, he waits. There is no drama. There is no inner conflict. There is only the system applied with the same precision every single time. You want to know why most traders fail. It is not because they do not understand the market. It is because they do not understand themselves. They think trading is about predicting price movement. It is not. Trading is about managing your psychology under pressure. It is about doing what your rules say when everything inside you is screaming to do something else. It is about trusting a process you built over time more than you trust your feelings in the moment. The amateur thinks the market owes him. The professional knows the market owes him nothing. The amateur wants certainty. The professional accepts uncertainty and builds a system that profits from it anyway. The amateur measures himself by how much he made today. The professional measures himself by whether he followed his process today. The amateur believes confidence comes from winning. The professional knows confidence comes from having rules he will not break no matter what the market does. Every single day you have a choice. You can trade like the market is a game you are supposed to win, or you can trade like the market is a probability system you are supposed to navigate with discipline and patience. The first approach feels exciting. It feels like you are doing something. It feels like you are in control, and it will destroy you. The second approach feels boring. It feels like you are missing opportunities. It feels like you are not doing enough. And it will make you a millionaire if you can endure it long enough. Because the secret is not in the strategy. The secret is in the person executing the strategy. The secret is in the daily practice of checking yourself before you check the charts. The secret is in asking whether you are trading your plan or whether you are reacting to your emotions. The secret is in the willingness to be wrong without being destroyed. The secret is in the patience to wait for your edge to appear instead of forcing trades, because you are bored or anxious or greedy. You do not need a new strategy. You need a checklist. You need rules. You need a system that thinks for you when you cannot think clearly. You need to stop trading like an amateur who hopes the market will make him rich and start trading like a professional who knows that discipline applied daily is the only thing that compounds into wealth. This is the mindset. This is the psychology. This is what separates those who survive from those who disappear. Not intelligence, not luck, not access, but the willingness to follow a process even when it feels wrong, even when others are winning differently, even when your emotions beg you to deviate. The market does not reward the smartest trader. It rewards the most disciplined one. So you begin again, tomorrow morning, before the charts open, before the numbers start moving, before your heart rate climbs and your mind starts calculating. You sit with your checklist. You remind yourself why you built it. You remember that the market does not care about your feelings, and that this is actually a gift, because it means the game is fair. It means that anyone willing to master their psychology can win over time. You are not competing against algorithms. You are not competing against institutional traders with more resources. You are competing against yourself, against the version of you that wants to act when you should wait, against the version of you that wants to quit when you should persist, against the version of you that believes one trade will change everything, when you know deep down that it is the 1,000 trades, the 10,000 decisions, the daily commitment to your process that builds wealth. The millionaire trader is not a different species. He simply made a different choice. He chose discipline over emotion. He chose patience over greed. He chose consistency over excitement. He chose to trust his rules more than his feelings. And he made that choice not once, but every single day, in moments that felt insignificant at the time. Moments when no one was watching. Moments when breaking the rules would have been easier. Moments when following the rules felt like losing. This is the path. Not complicated, not glamorous, not the story you will tell at parties, but it is the path that works. It is the path that compounds. It is the path that allows you to look at your account in 5 years and see results that look like magic to everyone else but feel like inevitability to you, because you know what you did. You know the price you paid, not in dollars lost, but in ego surrendered, in impatience endured, in discipline chosen over and over until it became who you are. The checklist is your anchor. When fear arrives, you do not fight it. You refer to your rules. When greed whispers, you do not debate it. You check your position size and your risk parameters. When doubt creeps in after a losing streak, you do not question your system. You review your journal and confirm that you followed your process. And if you did, you trust it. You trust it because you built it during calm, and you know that calm you is wiser than stressed you will ever be. Every professional trader you admire went through this. They felt what you feel, they wanted what you want. The difference is they stopped looking for a better strategy and started building a better mindset. They stopped blaming the market and started mastering themselves. They stopped hoping for certainty and started profiting from probability. They stopped trading with emotion and started trading with rules. You can do this, not because you are special, but because this is not about talent. This is about choice. The choice to show up every day with your checklist. The choice to honor your rules even when it costs you. The choice to measure success not by today's profit but by whether you remained consistent with your process. The choice to think in years when everyone around you is thinking in days. The market will still test you. Losses will still hurt. Missed opportunities will still sting, but you will endure them differently, not as failures, not as signs that you are not good enough, but as the expected variance of a system built for the long term, as the price of admission to the only game that rewards patience and discipline with compounding growth. You do not need more knowledge. You do not need a secret indicator. You do not need to find the perfect moment. You need to trust the process you built. You need to follow your checklist. You need to remember that every millionaire trader started exactly where you are now, feeling exactly what you feel, and the only thing that changed was their willingness to let discipline compound over time. Tomorrow morning, before the market opens, you will sit with your checklist. You will ask the same questions. You will follow the same rules. You will trust the same process, and you will do it again the next day, and the next, and the next, not because it feels good, not because it is easy, but because you understand that this is how professionals are built, one decision at a time, one trade at a time, one day of discipline compounding into a lifetime of results. This is your work now, not predicting the market, but mastering yourself, not chasing profits, but honoring your process, not hoping to get rich, but knowing you will, because you chose the only path that actually works, the path of the professional, the path of the checklist, the path of discipline,